in Hashem in the way in which the Torah describes it. And therefore, it doesn't matter if it's Christianity or atheism, in the sense that they're both rebellions against the emunah which the Torah wants us to have. I don't know which is worse, this one, that one, but I think that there is a continuity which we can assume, even though people are not as Christian now as they used to be. So therefore, what Hashem is saying is really, you place yourself in opposition to me. Good. Work on it. More and more and more. And that'll be even better, because the harder you are, the greater your fall. You know, the Maharal says that when he speaks about Emunah, this is in my one of the essays I wrote in the Pinocchio essay. Those of you familiar with Pinocchio essay, where I explain the Pinocchio syndrome, where we speak about how people don't want to grow up in the spiritual and ethical sense. But in any event, without getting too far afield, I quoted there the Maharal. And the Maharal says, some people say, and this is very important, Maharal, that if you hear people asking questions, Chaim, I'll get to your question in a minute. If you hear people asking questions about Emunah, some people say, quiet them down. Keep them quiet. Because the talk about Emunah diminishes Emunah. So the Maharal says, I say the opposite. I say if you don't answer the questions, you're in for trouble. And on the contrary, you should invite as many questions as possible. The Maharal says that, he doesn't give this marshal precisely, but this is more or less what he's saying. If you're a boxing champion, then what you're saying is that you're the best boxer in the world. You're the best boxer in the world, you should be able to get into the ring and win fights. It's no big deal, and not necessarily, and it's very suspect if you claim to be the best boxer in the world and you don't get into the ring with anybody. We'll take away your title from you. So therefore, says Maharal, on the contrary, the important thing is that people should have the opportunity to ask as many questions as they want, as they have, because they're answers to all the questions. The answers maybe are answers which might not satisfy, or because you have an agenda, or they might be above your head because you're not as smart, whatever the case may be, but there are answers. So therefore, what Hashem is saying, in essence, is similar. He's saying, on the contrary, make yourself as big as possible. And then you'll see that there's no such thing. No greatness overwhelms Hashem's master plan. So, in essence, it's similar. Why am I bringing it to Maharal? Because it's a similar thing. Christianity and atheism are saying that there is no God, or God is different than the nature the Jews ascribed to him. Hashem says, more challenges. You'll see at the end of time that this is not the case, that you were wrong all along. That's what Chaim is saying. Chaim is saying, according to the view that the Goy can have multiple deities as long as one of Hashem is considered atheism for someone to deny one of their minor deities. It would not, unless this is a quick trick question, Chaim, the answer is no. They can deny one of their deities as long as they still retain the right one. They're not mechuyev, they're not obligated to believe in multiple deities, so therefore they'd be okay just denying as many of them as we possibly could get them to deny. That's right, I think. But maybe I didn't understand the question correctly. Okay, let's see. Frank gets back to us on that. But in any event, so now Hashem says to Edom, try me. Try it out. See what's going to happen in the end. That's the pasuk again. In ganovim bo'olucha, if thieves came to you, in sholei layv, the bandits at night, ichnid meso, how to remain silent? How lo yignevu dayom, are they not going to steal that which suffices to them? In botrim bo'olach, and if harvesters have come to you, then what are they going to leave? They're just going to leave the isolated grapes on the vine. They're not going to leave anything more than that. Let's come back to the Parish of Miracles. Chaim said that's because there's more protection in atheism and Goyism. I don't like the term Goyism so much because, first of all, let's throw on the topic. There's a bracha we say Shlosani Goy. I should say that you say Shlosani Goy because I don't say it anymore. I say Shlosani Nachri. And so that is the alternative version, which is in the Siddur, the German Siddur, the Reddelheim Siddur. And in fact, I read recently, I must have known this before because I read this source many years ago, but I forgot it, that Rabbi Soloveitchik said Nachri also. Because it's hard to say Shlosani Goy, because it says, Vatem Tiuli Mamleches Kohanim V'Goy Kadosh. You're supposed to be, for me, a nation of priests, a holy nation. So Shlosani Goy, it undermines that whole notion of a Goy Kadosh. So therefore, there was the Yekesh Siddur, which it comes from the Machzor Vitri. They're a very early source, relatively, one of Rashi's Talmidim, as Shlosani Nachri, and some very great people, not me, I'm not great, but I'm among them, say Shlosani Nachri. So, I don't know, but so there is certainly a connection between Nachriism and atheism. Now, Goyism is a term which that is too ambiguous for me to deal with. Nachri means somebody who's nisnachru ma'asav v'avish shemayim. His deeds have become strange, foreign to his Father in heaven. The Sfaradim say Shlosani Goy. And even a lot of Germans say Shlosani Goy, even though it's in the Siddur Shlosani Nachri, but they have, many of them, the Frankfurters say, nevertheless, Shlosani Goy. So I'm not saying that people have to switch. I'm just saying that for me, it makes more of an impact to say Shlosani Nachri. Okay, so let's go back to this pasuk here. Ron asked me if he can switch if he wants. Yes. This type of thing, which you don't even have to make, you don't have to be matziyanet or anything like that, because the import of the bracha is the same. We have a tendency to believe that brachas are very much etched in stone. It's not the case. Brachas can be made somewhat differently, and you still yotze. V'haraya, that Shemona Esrei is different among the different eidos, the different communities. How did it come to pass? Because brachas are much more flexible than we actually think, as long as the idea is the right idea. I'd like to go off on another tangent once we talk about these brachas, which is one of the current controversies in the Orthodox world. I think it already passed, but I want to share my comment with you. Was there was a rabbi out in Los Angeles who said that he doesn't make the bracha anymore of Shlosani Isha because it's a Chilul Hashem. To make the bracha of Shlosani Isha is a Chilul Hashem, therefore it shouldn't be made because it's bad for the proper image Judaism should have, which is of the kind of egalitarian religion. And he put this on his blog, and subsequently there was a lot of pro and con, mostly con, and he took it down. But in any event, Shlosani Isha, he doesn't say. Now, in my opinion, it's not so terrible. These brachas, the brachas of Shlosani Goy, Shlosani Ovid, Shlosani Isha, are brachas of Shevach V'Hodah to Hashem, a praise and gratitude to Hashem. And therefore the Yisrael Shorish Havodah says you have to say them b'simcha, with great simcha. If you don't feel it, don't say it. If you don't feel that simcha, then you don't have to say the bracha. Even though it says, the Gemara says, Chayiv Adam Levarech Shalosh Brachos B'chol Yom, and Meir says you're required to make these three brachas every day. Shlosani Goy, Shlosani Ovid, Shlosani Isha. It's not literally Chayiv. The word Chayiv doesn't always mean literally obliged. It says Chayiv Inish L'Psumei V'Puriyah Lo Yoda. You have to get drunk on Purim. Not everybody in great tzaddikim don't get drunk on Purim. Now, I'm not condoning that behavior, of course, chas v'sholom. I don't say that it's mutter not to get drunk, but personally, but there are obviously people who don't have to get drunk. There's many times the word chayev is not to be taken literally as a obligatory obligation, but it is a good behavior standard to follow. So, be that as it may, a person wants to say Shalosani Isha, doesn't want to say Shalosani Isha, he doesn't feel it, don't say it. A person doesn't say feel Shalosani Nachri, don't say it. You're not mechuyev to say it. There was so what was the problem with this fellow over here, the rabbi in Los Angeles? The problem with the rabbi in Los Angeles is that he was saying not to say because it's Chil Hashem. Not because he didn't feel it, but because it's a Chil Hashem. But he really, it could be he felt that he's superior to women. And nevertheless, he didn't want to say because of the Chil Hashem. Ron says one could meditate on childbirth and feel it. Yeah, well, actually, somebody wrote on a blog essay, and if you saw Harry's blog, he said that nurses told him in the hospital that asking a kidney stone is like giving birth. So I guess if you have that experience, then you can really say it with kavanah. But I wanted to make one other point about this, which is Rabbi Salanter was one of the greatest geniuses of his time. Rabbi Salanter, according to the normative version of the story, when Yom Kippur in the 1840s, when there was a cholera outbreak in Vilna, he got up after Shachris, made Kiddush, as a Shiloh was Kiddush in Yom Kippur, isn't a Kiddush in Yom Kippur. According to this version, made Kiddush, had Mazoinus, and told everybody they should eat. There's another version that says he didn't eat, but he told everybody else to eat, but the way they say it over in the yeshivas is that he made Kiddush and ate and told everybody to eat. So he was not shy about, and the Rabbanim of Vilna later called him on the carpet and said, what right do you do? You're not even an official Rav in Vilna. But he stuck to his guns. At the same time, the story is told by Rabbi Saul that once a person came to him, an individual, and said, wanted Hetzer not to fast on Yom Kippur. So that person, Rabbi Saul said, the truth is that Al Pidin, according to Shulchan law, his condition, he's right. He doesn't have to fast on Yom Kippur. But how can I permit to him not to fast on Yom Kippur when I sense that perhaps he has, underlying this request, a machshavas minus, a heretical thought. In other words, a thought of, so like, gewaldig, I can eat on Yom Kippur. I'm going to show these guys, and I'm going to show Hashem, or whatever. So, the idea is that, yes, of course there is a heter for many things, but what is your motivation? What's going on in your mind? Is it because you really need the heter, or is it because you want to make a point? So, here too, in all these matters where we talk about updating this or changing that, one always has to be suspect of one's personal agenda and axe to grind. And, what are you really getting out of this? So, nice point for Ron says. Okay, I'll take that. Thank you. Take that compliment. But, again, I want to reiterate. The even that which is halachically permissible, such as not saying Shlos on Yisha. You gotta question the motivation. Is it because I really want to feel it and I can't? Or is it because I'm trying to be politically correct? It's Reb Moshe Feinstein has a tshuva about women's liberation. Maybe he mentions women's tefillah groups there, although I don't think there actually were very many in existence when he was asked this question. But he said that in theory, perhaps, we could be matir many things. But the question is, what's motivating these women? If they're motivated by parity with men, then he says, I can't be matir anything. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, it's longer tshuva, but it's the same idea which we're speaking about with Shlos Ani Yisha. Anyway, the reason I got to Shlos Ani Yisha, going backtracking here, is because Shlos Ani Goy. It's talking about Shlos Ani Goy is because of Chaim's connection between Goyism and atheism. But we need now to get back to where we began, and now let's do Pasuk Hey. Im Ganovim Bo Lecha. I read it already actually before, but so let's read them out. I'm sorry.